Folks, it's episode 69, the horny episode.
The sex number.
Oh, now Joe, I don't know if you know this, but I've famously never been horny. So actually, I'm sort of in the dark here. I don't know actually what it is. Can you give me an example of horny, just so that I know?
Well, I guess we can go by the same standard like the Supreme Court did that one time, which is I know it when I sees it. And folks, I sees it. Can we talk about our friend Roy?
Yeah, tell me about Roy.
Okay.
His username, I see it's Roy bunch of numbers.
Yes. So, Roy's a poster. This is a post. We're talking about posts. Roy replied.
What is he replying to?
He's replying to a post of a woman, and the accompanying message is retweet if you titty fuck me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And this is where Roy comes in. He says,
No, I'm just me personally. I don't see what there's left to be said. I don't see what you could possibly add to this conversation. But Roy is definitely gonna blow my mind here.
Roy really changed the rules. He says, not only would I fuck your titties, I would fuck your pussy.
Holy shit! Wait, Joe. Wait, both? Wait, he's doing both. I thought girls had to go to two different guys to have that.
Yeah, I believe Roy is what the swinging community calls a unicorn.
Fuck you. God damn it, Roy. Okay, so I know that people who are sex workers who post pictures of themselves, they have to make the followers engaged. That's their job. I understand why they do the prompt. I don't fucking understand these people who answer the hypothetical questions in the pornos when they're like, what would you do if you found me in your bed like this? It's like, what? I don't know, fuck? Probably. What do you get out of answering?
Yeah.
What is your deal, Roy?
I think many people, when they want to answer these questions earnestly for sex reasons, they sometimes swap into a different account. That's why Roy is so good, because there he is.
He is being horny.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Joe, I think Roy's best ever post was, of course, not only would I fuck your titties, I would also fuck your pussy.
I think what really sticks for me is that it is such a calm value proposition. This is a bulleted list. This is a sales briefing.
That he's got a USP here that not a lot of guys can provide. But I think his second best, a close second, is another woman who posts pictures of herself has done so, and the accompanying message is, only honest people should DM me, and not liars. And Roy, I gotta say, he's an honest person. He replies with, I enjoy everything with sex. Yeah. Folks, that's horny. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. But this time, we're actually looking at a horrible taboo that we hate to look at, but because it's episode 69, we have to. It's horny. We're looking at hornies. I'm Tom, an anime sicko who's never been horny.
I am Joe, an anime sicko. I've never nutted. I will never do so. that will never happen. If you have supposed inside information that I have, lost my virginity in Gurney, Illinois, near the Six Flags, that is false information. I am pure.
Yep.
All right, I think as an illustrative point about like the corrupting influence of Horny, it would be nice if I used an illustrative personal example. Tom and I have talked extensively about how DePaul's like, they really got us good, man.
We got bamboozled. They ran the dumbest fucking 3-card Monte grift, and we put every last one of our dollars being like, nah, this time I'll fucking find the card.
Did you ever get grifted like so hard that you're impressed? You're like, wow, what execution, what follow through.
It's called college. But what about that, Joe? What about
my sophomore year lived in, it was student apartments, but they were very bad. They were in many ways probably just as bad as just regular dorms. It was used to be a very, very old building. It's knocked down now. It was a studio that converted into a 1-bedroom. And then the bedroom was so small, it was just like 2 beds stacked on top of each other. It was no good. And the environment was very bad. But despite that, that winter, I had like monk mode, Tom. Something came over me. I had a bunch of morning classes, and I lived on the north side, and I would like take the loop to a lot of classes like at 8 a.m., which is something I was never able to do before. My grades were really good. I read a ton, and not like reading for school. Like, I mean, like I would read, and then I would just find other stuff and like read for pleasure and like kind of get lost in doing stuff at the library. Like I would follow things like that. My grades were good, but like my grades were kind of okay before. The thing is like I got the good grades effortlessly, like flowing water, and it wasn't because the classes were easy. It was just like it's just a normal quarter.
Your brain was like, I just love creating new synapses. It's actually very easy for me.
Yeah,
that's the thing I'm meant to do.
And in that winter, I was like, man, I'm not really like a bullish person when it comes to like my own personal confidence or like my trajectory, but I'm like, this is really like things are going my way. Like, have I found a new sort of mental footing? Is this like a new chapter for Joe?
So what I'm hearing is it lasted forever, right? Like it never went away, right?
No, it went away. It crashed and burned. I would have preferred never have to taste heaven than to have it taken away from me.
What happened?
A friend said, hey, this girl thinks you're funny. And that was it. Like it was gone. Like it's all gone. Like I fucked everything up. Like it wasn't. And I don't like if the subtext is here, then I like went on like a sex rampage. That's not the case here. What I'm trying to give the image here is that like I had a very delicate house of cards set up. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I remembered making her laugh too, and then like all the cards went away, and it wasn't like because like a wind came in. It was yeah.
To be clear, you never got horny, but like even just like the implication of a future horny just breaks it all down. Oh,
yeah,
I love
it. I was operating under the assumption that my tranquility was like powerful and meaningful and long lasting. I had no idea it was like about to break at any moment.
There's this miasma that is an essential part of human existence that is constantly floating around the entire world forever, that if you brush up against in any way, shit's fucked up and everything's gone. Joe, I gotta tell you, I want to counter your story with my story. It's a different sort of flavor, but it's also an illustrative example of the same ilk. And much like your story, it does take place in DePaul University, and I will tee it up here. So it was freshman year, and I was taking all the introductory courses for an English major, all the 101 courses. And one such class was Poetry 101, and this was a pretty crappy class. We bought a single big fat book of collected poetry from all types of authors, and every class was just, we would read like 1 or 2 poems from that book, talk about them very surface levelly, and then go home. And the homework was to read another poem from the same book.
The tiger, yes, it is out of its cage.
Man, I wish we fucking had that one. I thought you were doing Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright, where the guy spells tiger wrong. I would get an F if I turned that in, because it'd be like tiger doesn't have a Y.
That's why I like the kid's tiger poem, because it's like I not only did I come up with a good poem, but we can replace that other one.
Yeah, exactly. But no. So I was in this class, and Joe, here's how it was. There was like a U of desks that were along like 3 walls of the room. So like there was the back row of desks right against the back wall facing the front, and then there was like the U where against the sides there were desks that were facing in towards the middle of the room. And then in the center of this U of desks were your standard rows all facing forward. And I, the first day, decided that I was going to sit on the left side of the room in one of the desks that are facing the middle. And I sat there. And there was this girl who's sitting in the middle. And I noticed one day that she like looked at me, and I'm like, that's weird. Why isn't she looking forward? That's odd. It's probably, honestly, a mistake. Probably like we crossed eyes, and it was like a mistake.
Yeah. You could have been sexist about it and be like, girls are bad with directions, so yeah. She may be looking the wrong way.
Girls do be looking to their right for no reason. Folks, we know that. Ladies, you know about how you be looking right. Anyway, so, next class came. She, like, looked at me again, and I'm, like, looking behind me. I'm like, is there something, like, is something cool happening behind me? Like, what's going on?
Can I interject with an honest question? When you have this feeling of someone looking at you and, like, you're trying to figure out why and you can't, how quickly do you check to see if like your dick's out? Like, 'cause I have like, I have that all the time where it's just like, that's my fear.
Joe, I gotta tell you, that did not occur to me as the reason, because I often make very sure that I am wearing pants before I leave the house. I don't know if you do this. I
do too, but like, it's just maybe like, what if the dream where you have no pants is reality?
No, I wasn't.
So this girl couldn't understand that like you don't understand what affection is.
Yeah, no, I definitely just thought it was very weird and had no idea what was going on. One day I came to class a little early and I sat down at my desk and I was just sort of waiting for things to start. This girl came and she sat next to me, which I thought was very odd. And she said,
"Awful. This is really rough to hear."
She said to me, "Hey, I forgot my book. Do you mind if I share yours?" And Joe, I got to tell you, I didn't speak this aloud. What I said aloud was, "Sure." What I thought in my head is, you fucking kidding me? We only have one book. How did you forget the only book?
Oh my God.
And we then shared the book for the remainder of class. I said nothing to her, and she at one point, I was wearing a threadless t-shirt because it was the mid 2000s and this was the cool thing to do, and she looked at my threadless t-shirt and said, "That shirt's really cool." I said, "I got it for Christmas." And then we went on our way, and it was years later that I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So I guess the difference between us is I just had made a decision early on that like just horny was never gonna happen for me. So you can't even imagine it's possible.
I think she, in order to like not spook you, maybe she should have like hand fed you some M&Ms just to like calm you down.
I would have been like, "Ma'am, it's illogical to feed a stranger M&Ms. You should eat these yourself. You bought them." Oh, fuck.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
Joe, one thing we love to do on Anime Sickos that makes us the best podcast is that we love to define our terms so that everyone knows exactly what we mean when we say our funny catchphrases. And we got to do that with horny. Because when we say never been horny and that we've never nutted,
no.
It might come across that we're trying to steal asexual valor, which we would never do because they are the noblest people on the planet. Is we gotta make it clear that there's a difference between having sexual desire and acting on it and being horny.
Horny involves posting usually.
Yeah, you gotta.
It's really, I mean, it really involves posting.
Yeah, like if you privately find someone attractive, and then maybe, you want to have a sexual encounter, and you find a consenting partner, and you enjoy yourselves in private. The thing about that is that I didn't have to see it when I was scrolling on Twitter. However, when I'm looking at my posts for the day, and I see someone say that not only would I fuck your titties, but also I would fuck your pussy, I'm just like, oh, okay, fuck.
Well,
I didn't ask for that.
Horny is the special sauce that makes you string those words together because it's really wonderful. The syntax is so funny. We've already goofed on it about like he's sort of positioning himself as like a rare fellow. It's what it seems like. Lust was never supposed to be expressed with words, and this is it trying to manifest.
It was definitely never supposed to be expressed with words to fucking strangers, because that's the thing that I think the key to something being horny, to it being capital H horny, is horny needs to be inflicted like violence upon innocence. That is what changes something from I have a sexual desire to I am horny.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, in Golden Kamuy, there's like a judo guy who becomes the type of horny we're talking about, where he his pupils go away and he walks through walls. He can like he becomes the Terminator because he's so horny. Like that's like one of the most realistic parts of the comic.
Like, and also when we say horny is inflicted on innocence, you may get in your mind that like, oh, do you mean like little kids? No, I mean like
me, man.
30-year-old men who want to learn about Monster Train.
Yeah, yeah, like, yes. Anytime you see like something very sexually explicit on the timeline, and you're like, I don't know, that's standing out. That seems a little out of place for what I normally go for. Imagine I'm there, T-posing in a field, being subjected to the post. Think about how I would feel.
So like, I'm logging on Twitter, and I'm going to use an example that is a classic. I think this is really the top tier. Just like this is like the perfect kilogram that they keep under a bell jar in like Europe, for reference. I'm logging on. I want to see the following things: some shit about politics that makes me furious, my homies telling me that Anime Sickos is a good show, and funny jokes. So I want those. Imagine I'm scrolling looking for those. I see a few. I go, ooh, my treat. And then I see Kevin Smith from July 9th, 2009, saying about he and his wife on their 10th anniversary. 10 years in, and we bone like we're cheating on each other with each other. A decade plus, and her clit/brown/taint area still pones my dick.
This is an awful tweet. It is, as far as 2009 tweets that are still around, it could be a lot worse. And any tweet that old that is known has shaped like the cultural consciousness.
But I gotta say, I gotta agree, Joe. The 2000 any post before 2011 is just deeply cursed. It just comes from a hell world that we hate. You shared one that was great with me lately. I'm not gonna say a certain word. I'm gonna replace it with person. But it's from Kevin Hart, the stand-up comic and actor. He said, "I just saw a person put a whole chicken wing in his mouth and pull it out with no meat on it." 6 exclamation points. Goddamn, that was gay.
Like, I don't think it's funny because of the way he thinks it's funny. I'm like laughing at the audacity of it.
You're laughing at a world where that was the posts.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But to go back to Kevin Smith, this just what he's talking about at its basest core. I love my wife and she is attractive to me. That's so fine. That's not horny.
Yeah.
But
now we have to think about his awful huge jorts all the time now.
this is like, even when like someone is like being playfully horny, like, ooh, I'm a small bean, and like I like to touch my friend's butt. My friend's butt is so hot, lol. And it's like, and their friends like, oh, you, OMG.
I feel like the small bean stuff is in decline. I'm seeing less of that.
I sure fucking hope so. Because every time I see that, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I didn't ask. I did not consent to be part of your little game. I did not ask to be subjected to this horny shit.
Yeah.
It's just no good. It's just no good. And especially because, like, when it's public, when someone's posting is public. That's the fucking...
Posting is the bus.
Posting's the bus, dude. When someone's on the bus and they're being horny, it's just like, okay, what's the goal here? Like, what are you doing this for? Like, you're doing this for a reason. You do have a goal in mind. And part of what you're doing is roping me into it. So, like, is that part of your... Am I part of your naughty game? Like, am I in it?
Like, if I leave, does it fuck it up for you?
Because, like, I would love it if you asked, but you didn't, and now I'm in the game.
Even when I'm the intended receipt of the game, and I don't like it. Have you received a nude ever?
I do not think I have.
I've received one nude, and it kind of came out of the blue, and it... I'm not gonna say like it didn't make my day, but like the thing was like my immediate response was like, well, now I have to buy a lockbox so I can put the phone in it. Like, like I was just like, this is I have to protect this at all costs, I guess. I don't know. Like it suddenly I felt like I was called to a higher purpose.
Yeah, I know, and I understand that impulse completely, and it's also why when I see people casually on Twitter talk about like, oh, I share my nudes with all my friends. I get so many nudes from my friends. And it's just like, if I saw any of my friends nude, it would be the worst thing that happened. I would have to like, I would never be able to make it up to them. And I would certainly never like be like, hey, everyone online, you know me. I'm a fucking freak. I'm so horny all the time. I'm constantly sharing nudes with everyone. It's like, ew, why me part of this? Why make me part of the game?
I agree in most cases, for sure. I think the one thing that is worth mentioning is like, we've been in pandemic times for over a year, and now people aren't even like doing cute. They're just like, I cannot wait to suck and fuck all the people I meet after I get the vaccine.
You see, I kind of have to respect that.
I do. That's what I mean. It's like, it's just, now I know what, no one's saying bean.
I think part of it is the honesty of it all. Because, like, a lot of this horny shit, like Kevin Smith talking about his fucking wife's brown area poning his dick and such, like, It puts to mind the image of someone like waggling their tongue like bleh, like ooh. Whereas what you're describing, and honestly, guys like Roy, they're just very soberly looking at the facts, and they're like, you know what? I'm looking at the spreadsheets. I've done a sum function of column E, and the results are that I need to nut. And it's like, you know, that's fine. That happens to people, you know? It does. You can
I can't imagine having such an uninhibited, like, just be like, now I must nut the same way you have to like clip your toenails. Just like, this is a thing that must happen.
So I gotta talk about something you told me when we were talking the other day. I mentioned that one of the great curses of horny, because there really is no goal, like getting that nut off isn't the goal. Like, because if you're deciding to post horny, you're gonna do it again. If there's one, there's another and another and another. So you're going to be like that forever. And you described it as the greatest debuff of all.
It is. It is. First of all, let me tell you, this shit stacks. It does. It absolutely does. There's no bottom.
Joe, okay. When I first started playing Monster Train, you and Kevin had already been playing it for a while. And I mentioned that I thought spell weakness wasn't a very good debuff that you could apply to enemies. Because what I thought it was is when something has spell weakness of 1, it adds 1 damage to a spell that gets played on that enemy. And if it has a spell weakness of 2, it adds 2 damage. So a spell that normally would do like 5 damage would do 7. And I was like, guys, spell weakness seems like a really terrible debuff. And you explained to me that actually the number is how many times the damage gets applied. So if something has spell weakness of 3 and you play a spell on them, they're getting hit with the damage once and then 3 extra times.
Yeah.
And when I understood that, the severity of the debuff fucking knocked me flat, and I was just like jaw on the ground. That's horny. That's the kind of stacking we're talking about.
It's rough. Like you got to play around it.
You do. You got to play around it. And that's why you got to, when you're building your deck, you have to decide at the beginning, my win condition is never being horny. So all of your draft choices have to revolve around that.
Yeah. The reason like I would like to avoid it is not even because of some fake purity reasons that I'm joking about. The honest reason
although I gotta say, the joke about never being horny is hilarious. It's a very funny bit.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, like, I always feel like I'm mentally juggling, and then horny is just like, oh, you know how there's 3 balls? Well, like, what? I don't know. Now there's thoughts of a MILF, I guess, and now there's 2 more balls, and like it's just like harder to go about my day. I don't like it.
How about this as a visualization of that? You're juggling 3 balls, and then you get horny, and you immediately melt into a little pile of goop with its tongue waggling, going bleh. And you don't have arms anymore, so the balls all fall.
I gotta say, all the Looney Tunes depictions of like a wolf going nuts because of a pretty lady, they really knocked it out of the park.
It sucks. It's so bad. And just like, I hate to empathize with the horny people, but like, there is a sort of perverse freedom in just when you get that awful urge, just be like, wahoo, I'm telling everybody. But like, it's just so like, okay, here's an example of, again, how it's so awful and just absolutely like psychic damaging to everyone who sees it. And it's honestly immoral to be horny publicly. And I'll give you an example. Remember, there was a while where everyone was horny for New York monster Andrew Cuomo.
Like, he looks like Mo Sizlak had on, and everyone, like, we spent months, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Like, there was months during the early COVID stuff where everyone was like, I want him to destroy me.
And like, the things he did was like go on TV and be like, COVID, oh man, I'm gonna make sure all of our slave prisoners make you hand lotion. Joe, the fucking Andrew Cuomo looks like if you walked up to him, the contextual button prompt that would appear would be press X to inspect mummy. And everyone was just like, my man, please blow out my pussy. I want the cum to shoot out my mouth.
It was really wild. Anyway, I guess people think that's less sexy now. He was in the hot category before. Now he's a firm not.
He's definitely not. And it's just so like it was so damaging to those of us who knew like, oh, Cuomo fucking sucks, to see all this horny shit, because not only is it there people who are praising objectively an evil man and a danger to every New Yorker's life, but also everyone was being horny. They thought it was okay. They thought it was fine to be horny because everyone was doing it. And it was just like every time I logged on, I was being forcibly included in someone's little sex game, which, again, I did not say yes to. And I think the most horny post of the entire Cuomo craze.
It's probably are you going to say the Jennifer Rubin one?
Oh, I am, Joe.
Okay, good. That's good.
So let's describe first the picture that Andrew Cuomo posted that she did her thirst reply to. Joe, this is a picture of Andrew Cuomo, his 3 daughters, and one of the daughters' boyfriend. Can you describe this picture to me? How would you say what this looks like?
It sucks. It's the Shining photo, but there's less people. Like, it's very vacant. It's not good.
It's his dining room. They're eating. It looks like a hotel ballroom that got half set up.
This is Italian decadence.
They love for their home to look like a conference just broke. And like the staff is eating the remaining fucking catering. There's this huge awful table they're sitting at. They have paper placemats that look terrible, and there's a single plate of spaghetti and meatballs on the center of the table. Everyone, it really does look like the Shining photo. Everyone is looking directly at the camera and like doing a smile with the bottom half of their face only. Andrew Cuomo has a huge glass of Coca-Cola next to his spaghetti, which, what a vile combination. God damn it.
Yeah, that's not even the bad part.
Yeah, what is Jennifer Rubin's response? Can you read that for me?
At NYGov Cuomo, and in quotes, the boyfriend looks nice, and the girls seem to have eaten their spaghetti and meatballs. I don't know what's going on here, but like...
This is like nuclear level. And Joe, it's hard to get across when you're speaking it out loud, but she says the girls seem to have eaten their spaghetti and meatballs. Meatballs is 2 words, which is the most just cursed shit.
That's not like, she wasn't implying that, right?
It doesn't matter if she was implying it or not. Author intent does not factor into the effect of a piece of literature has on the reader, and the effect that it has is holy shit. Spaghetti and meatball. Like, even if it means nothing, just the fact that she wrote out spaghetti and meatballs is like gross. Like, meatballs? Meatballs? Come on. God.
When you were describing the photo, you did a pretty good job. You didn't mention that each individual person has their own salt and pepper shakers.
Oh my God. I didn't even notice. Oh my, and they are, okay, they are that shitty salt and pepper shaker that they have at like crappy diners and conference rooms that are like very skinny and have like a bullet shaped shaker. You know the ones. You'll know it when you see it. Oh my God. Fuck.
This is horny, right? Like I don't even see how it reads as it, but like I know it's powerful. This is an inscrutable display. I'm confused by this,
and yet it's very clear that she's saying this. She is simping, to be clear. She's just when you reply to someone's photo telling them that they're beautiful and a genius, that's horny. And I think the fact that she has written it in such unspeakable runes is itself like perverted, if nothing else.
Have you ever seen Planet Terror?
I have not.
The grind. Okay. Quentin Tarantino is in it as like an extra, and like he is a guy who the zombie virus starts melting his dick and balls, but he's still trying to get hard.
Wait, they're turning like to goop?
Yeah, like it's fucked up, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" as he's doing this, and anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
Fuck.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
Now, Joe, we've talked about this since the very start. In episode 1, you talked about the cat girl on the ice, a visual representation of how you're watching anime, and you're having a good time enjoying a cool show about fighting teens, and then they stop everything and show you jiggly jumbos for 5 minutes, and then you just have to pretend like that didn't happen and keep watching it like it's still normal to watch it if you're a 30-year-old man.
Yeah, and then if you bring it up, people are like, "You're really hung up on this." Whatever.
Yeah, it's actually the worst shit in the world. Here's the deal. I spoke briefly about this in the newsletter. But when you're watching some fucking anime and the fan service starts, the reason that it's so disgusting, because people will try to defend it being like, sexuality is part of human existence. You're trying to police sexuality, Puritan much? What happens when it fucking shows up? It's like the fucking show has stopped everything and is speaking directly to me, and it's like, hey, buddy. So I think I got your speed, and I'm like, oh, you got my speed? What does that mean? It's like, I know you. I know you like stuff a little naughty. And I'm like, oh, what? Word, what are you talking about? And it's like, no, I get it. You don't have to deny it. I understand. We're on the same page. Honestly, some people might think that's a little crude, but not me. I actually understand. I'm like a cool show. And I'm like, no, don't stop talking to me like this. And the show's like...
The guy's like, God, it'd be so weird if you just like got like horny, like right now.
Yeah.
So weird.
Like most people would think that like it'd be pretty like perverted to like have some titties right here. But like, honestly, like I'm on your side, man. Like, you know what? I'm going to slip in a little treat just for you. I know you like it. And I'm like, I don't like this. Like, I don't want this. If I wanted this, I would have looked for this, but I didn't.
It's too many things. I can't, okay, look, if I'm going to get fighting robots, I can do that at once. If I can't also be activating other parts of my brain and body.
It's like if someone put sushi in my popcorn. It's like,
yes.
What is that doing here?
Yes.
You have ruined them both.
It's bad enough, like, if you feel that, like, that shame as the TV looks at you and, like, waggles its eyebrow. When you feel that by yourself, it's bad enough. But the only thing that's worse is, like, if you recommend an anime and there is, like, say, I don't know, like, there's 10 hours of content, and then there's, like, just, like, a 20-minute segment that is just gratuitous titties. And, like, when you recommend it, you have to be like, well, if I don't bring up that, then what happens is when they get to that part, not only is it a tacit recommendation of it, I'm actually admitting that I honked off to it. I loved it. I, like, couldn't stop doing it. In fact, like, this isn't a tape anymore because everything's digital, but I would wear that sucker out if it were.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, it's so tiresome too. If you don't be like, and so there's some problematic sections of and it's like it sucks shit to say that, but if you don't, it's exactly that. It's like this anime is great, all of it, if you know what I mean. What it ends up being is like, if you don't go out of your way to like be like, oh, I hate the titties. Oh, the titties make me so mad. If you don't go out of your way, you become the co-author of the titties. It's like you drew them.
You drew them, yeah.
Your friend is going to watch and be like, Tom drew these titties. What a creep.
Yeah, well, I would say it would be more accurate to say that someone else drew the titties, but then you marketed them. You're responsible for them.
Yeah, I was the distributor. I got the product and was like, boy, baby, it's dynamite. Good, good.
Which is why you feel the shame, because there's like a contractual obligation there.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking... It's so infuriating. And I will say, again, there are some horny that I do have to respect, much like Roy. It is possible to have an anime with sexual content that is not this sort of disgusting waggle-tongued horny that you're subjected to, that implicates you in the little game. I think the biggest example, we've talked about this before, but it's Dorohedoro for sure.
That's just a very interesting horny, but it's like all the author's deal. Like we are witnessing it, and we can enjoy it if we want. But this is something for her.
Yeah. You described it as a thumbprint. It's like it's
Like, yes, it's a very specific type of horny. Like, I've looked at her other works, and they're different, but like she's got a look.
you know very quickly upon reading her work that what she likes is just women who weigh like 500 pounds of pure thick muscle.
Yes, just like a one-person rugby team woman.
Just legs thicker than like any person has ever been, and there's two of them right next to each other, folks.
What's great is like the large sort of like buff, hulking, strong like woman is not like unheard of in anime and stuff. But this is just like a type of woman in the world, and there's two of them, and many belong to the big woman class.
And it's not disgusting and shameful to watch, because it's just like, this is an author who is making a very personal work, and part of that is the thickest women of all time, who are so huge and could kill you and could crush Q Hayashida's skull. They could step on her head. That would be so good if they did that.
Oh no,
God.
I put my head on the curb. Oh no.
And like that, you gotta respect that, because it's just an artist making their art.
Can I time out? Can I ask a genuine question on the answer to that? It might actually be a good question for this.
Yeah, give me.
Okay, so I'll take that the argument that there's a thumbprint to a specific type of artist horny. I don't like being horny, but I got to come clean. I do have like an R. Crumb coffee table book, and like, okay, so that guy's deal is that he thinks well,
How do you even put it?
okay, well, I don't even need to like put it like tactfully, because he literally has like pages where it's like, the ideal woman, she has strong quads so she can carry me, and like he has like the drawing and stuff, and there's like a bunch of weird perverse just weird section. There's like a short arc where there's like a naked woman who doesn't have a head, and she like they're like, oh man, I gotta tell my buddy about this because he is gonna want to fuck it. And the story happens that they fuck so much that she was actually a regular woman, and her head pops out and things are normal now. So like, yeah,
Okay. I think. Oh, here's the thing. I think the key there. Obviously, that's fucking pervert shit and is disgusting. But R. Crumb isn't like the animator of like Bleach, who put that in between the fights.
and he's not, because we live in a fucking awful world.
He makes his pervert comics, and he's just like, hey everybody, this is a pervert comic, and that's fine.
I wish I could figure out the words to search, because my favorite like takedown of the Crumb era like alt comics is a 4-panel comic of just basically a rabbit being like, I want to fuck. I want to fuck. And if someone knows who drew that, or where I can find it, please tell me, because it really kind of one and done. It's really sort of a one and done for that whole sort of movement. It's a very scathing joke.
An entire era of artists working together, thinking they're groundbreaking, and their entire output is, I'm horny.
I can't wait to fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's bad. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna defend it, but at the same time, like, it's not the kind of horny that is despicable to me, where again, I, an innocent, am subjected to a little game that I didn't say yes to. If I'm reading R. Crumb, I know what I'm looking for.
You can't be like,
It's that gross shit.
You're right. Your anime example makes more sense, because you are consuming anime, the category, the medium. Anyone who's like, I'm going to read this R. Crumb, and there better not be any huge thighed women in this, is a moron. You're right.
Yeah, they're the idiot in that.
We're the anime sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crimes way.
Joe, this is a very tangentially related story to the topic of the episode, but it's funny, and it's never going to come up any other time, so I'm going to tell it. When I was in my youth and my high school days, my big thing was I would look through the DVR listings late at night on like TBS and Comedy Central, because every once in a while they would never fucking advertise it, and it would be haphazard. It wouldn't be like the same time every week. Every once in a while they would play Kids in the Hall and Mr. Show, and I would set them to record every time, and I would treat each DVR recording of Kids in the Hall or Mr. Show like the most precious gem.
This sounds like a programming block designed to make just tedious 30-year-olds down the line.
You see the result right now before you. Anyway, I had my collection. I would watch them over and over. They were great. Sometimes Kids in the Hall at 3 a.m. on TBS would be the edited version where they would take out the swear words and stuff. Sometimes they would just broadcast it straight from HBO with everything uncut. My parents knew I was doing this, but they weren't like sitting down and watching with me. They just knew I was like watching fucking sketch comedy.
They should have stopped that.
They should have stopped it. I wasn't performing or writing it. If I had gone that far, then like that would be negligent to not stop. But I never took that step, thank God. But one time I had a buddy over to my house, which is a very rare occasion in high school. So I was like, I got to make the most of this. And like, what's something that's really important to me? It's these comedy shows. Like, they're not really popular. Like, the DVDs weren't big for Mr. Show yet. These weren't things people were talking about, and I thought they were so funny and so interesting. I needed to share them with someone. So I'm like, hey, you know what you're gonna love is this show, Mr. Show. It's like a sketch show, but like it's really funny, and like all the sketches like blend into each other. It doesn't like stop. They just transition into the next one, and it's like so creative. They're so funny. You gotta watch this. And so I put on the latest one that I just recorded, and I must have watched partway through, and it started midway. And as I turned it on, my mom entered the room and was like, "I'll watch this." And the first sketch that showed up, and I believe you're familiar with this sketch, Joe, was the Cock Ring Warehouse sketch. Can you describe the Cock Ring Warehouse sketch?
Yeah, so that sketch is something to the effect of an infomercial for a place called the Cock Ring Warehouse, which is sort of a depot overstock situation. And there's a narrator who is very bored and telling you about the deals to be had at the Cock Ring Warehouse. And at the end, it cuts to a guy in a chicken suit, and it says, "Any cock will do." And yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I cannot emphasize enough how many times the words cock ring are said in this sketch. Just an absolutely unconscionable amount. The guy is like, "Get your new and used cock rings. Glass cock rings, plastic cock rings, wooden cock rings, metal cock rings, all types of cock rings in all sizes for all types of cocks."
This sketch has a type weakness to moms. It does. It's just like the worst of maybe. There's quite a few Mr. Show sketches where you don't want your parent there, but like this is pretty up there.
So what I did is after that sketch concluded, I turned the TV off and calmly said to everyone, maybe let's do something else.
I also have a parent Mr. Show story as well.
Gimme!
When I was in college, obviously I had a bunch of shit that I left at home, and my dad started working really late nights doing the CTA bus depot repair stuff. He was working specifically on air brakes for the accordion buses, the really long ones.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And he takes lunch at 3 a.m. or something. So he bought like a little portable DVD player so he could like eat lunch and have something to do, because what else is there to do if there's nothing on TV? So he just like just went into my closet, just grabbed DVDs, and I saw that like Mr. Show was gone when I came back, and I was like, "Hey, did you watch any of my movies?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I watched that Mr. Show. Those guys are pretty funny." And he's right. He's right. He watched like all of it at 4 a.m. in a dark garage.
Hey, those guys are pretty funny. It's like the highest praise that you can extract from a dad about something that is not World War II.
Yeah, that's not World War II. My dad did not have the affectation for World War II. Like obviously all dads can sort of like lose an afternoon to a documentary or like black and white footage of it, but like he did not have like the hobbyist mindset that I know many fathers have.
Good to know. Joe, I'm going to break the illusion that we're having a completely natural conversation with no pre-planning, and will now transition you into telling the other sketch story that you have planned.
Yes. As you know, the way you like do comedy in 2007 to, I don't know, 15 is you like talk about your dick a lot.
You talk about your dick a lot and you're extremely offensive. Every single episode you have to make a gay or trans panic joke. It's required by law. Did not age great, and largely.
Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because like I'm bored of jokes that reference the dick. Like to leave a mark on me, it has to be really powerful, right? Because I have like an immune system now.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, so there's a start of this Whitest Kids sketch where like a teen is at the computer in front of his laptop, and like the parents leave, and obviously like he's gonna jack off. That's like the joke. But before he starts, he says, "Don't worry, come. I'll get you out of there." Fuck,
dude.
Like, is that horny? Because it's just like, it seems to me the funniest combination of words. Like, it is not even sexual. This came up in the KC Green conversation because it's like when he had the blowjob fair, ticket to the blowjob fair with Wacko Warner on it. I asked him, and I was like, these are just words, right? Like, when you see this, like, you're not imagining acts. Like, the blowjob fair doesn't exist in your mind. It's just like, this is a thing that has to be said. and that's how I feel.
Don't worry, come. I'll get you out of there.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, I don't even remember the rest of the sketches.
The sketch. See, this is the thing. What we have to do, if in a just world this would be a job that we can make a living on, is we would be sketch comedy editors, and we would just tell people what to cut,
Yeah.
which would invariably be 90% of every sketch. And it would that sketch would end there. It'd just be like, ooh, time to jack off. Don't worry, come. I'll get you out of there. Next sketch.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, obviously from a budget reason, like, that's a lot to set up to have one guy shoot and be like, wow, my cum. It's probably not like, from a production perspective, I see why it might not want to be a standalone.
But if you're doing like a sketch show, if you're doing live performance, just make them short. Fuck, we're getting off topic. I think we gotta wrap up. And we decided early on when we were planning out this episode that we were going to open with Roy and we were going to close with something else, something very meaningful and important and deep phrase that encapsulates basically everything we've been talking about. This whole episode has basically been us taking Never Been Horny, Don't Tell the Paper That I Ever Got Horny, and like spooling it out and looking what makes it tick. Like, what does it all mean?
Yeah. It's also, and this is key, an opportunity to do one episode where we can just like get all the dick jokes out.
Yeah, of course. Never do them again. Just get them all out of our system right away. And now at our bookend, we want to take what we've just unraveled and ravel it back up into like a beautiful pearl that contains all of the multitudes, but in one perfect, pure unit. And like all things that are beautiful and pure and perfect, it's from Tim Robinson's sketch show, I Think You Should Leave. Joe, could you take it?
Yes. I've lived my whole life for this. I wish I could teach in a real context where like I actually now have to stand up in front of an auditorium and talk about this. So as you know, we're obsessed with this sketch. It's not just a sketch. It's like a tapestry of life. We could pull wisdom from it whenever necessary. And the sketch is black and white footage of a like fake Bozo the Clown show while a character does really shitty edits over it, like talking over it.
It's Bozo dubbed over with spaces between all the words.
Yes. Yeah, one of the things that he keeps saying as Bozo is, I'm not even supposed to be here. I hope I don't jack off.
Folks, that's everything. That's it.
That's like... That's actually on your to-do list. You don't know this. It's always on your to-do list. You know when you go into your computer and you go to right-click properties and you go to show hidden files? When you do that on your life's to-do list, I hope I don't jack off appears. Previously it was hidden.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
Yeah,
I hope
obviously not true. He's a clown. Well,
jack off.
He should not jack off, but he's clearly supposed to be there.
Well, Joe, no, think of it. I mean, this is like a pure truth that like this is like more than just a clown saying this. This is like human truth. Like, what does it mean to be supposed to be here? Are any of us supposed to be here? Life is random, Joe. I didn't ask to be born. What is this world? This world is just it's just our invention. It's our invented society and all of our rules. There's no inherent meaning to any of it. I'm living in this world, but I'm not even supposed to be here. I hope I don't jack off.
Like, as an organizing principle, you can do a lot worse. You can do way worse.
Fuck me. I mean, that's all horny is. When you're horny, when you post horny, you're jacking off.
You're just kind of letting everybody know. Hey, man, I just want everyone to know, thinking about, you know.
And another thing, no one's perfect, Joe. No one's perfect. The human brain trends toward horny. You have to intend to bend it back towards purity of not posting that shit. Because if you just let it go, you become Roy.
Yes.
So it's not I will never jack off, because to do so would be too hubristic.
Reverse Roy.
Yeah. What you gotta do is you gotta walk the middle path, the golden path. I hope I don't jack off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, hope implies that you've strayed from the path before and you live with a level of self-forgiveness that is important.
Yeah, yes. You see, that's important to being a human, to be I'm not even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Oh my god, fuck. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
This podcast is so dumb. This is Joe, an Anime Sicko.
Probably one of the dumbest that we've ever done. But it's episode 69. Again, we could have done a lot worse. Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.